Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some boxing. I'm gonna try to keep this kind of brief because I gotta go to bed and watch my Niners defeat New Orleans Saints tomorrow. So, I just wanted to give an update, post-fight commentary as usual. Um, we had a good day of boxing. It was an interesting day of boxing. We'll start off by the Keith Thurman versus Carlos Quintana fight. I'll briefly talk about that. Um, Keith Thurman, he did what he said he would do, and he just enforced his power and had a body shot, I believe, in the first round that knocked down Quintana. And I didn't think he was going to recover from that, but he barely beat the count, and he was able to weather the storm for a few more rounds. And I think that was a big moment for Keith Thurman because once he figured out that he can hurt him, um, then he just had that in the back of his mind. So as far as Keith Thurman as a fighter, I don't really see anyone really wanting to fight him at 147. He was supposed to fight Maidana a little while ago. Not this fight, but his last fight. And then I think Maidana pulled out. Um, he fought tonight at 154 pounds. He's a big framed fighter, so I think he's probably going to have better luck at 154 picking fights. I don't know, K9 Bundridge or something. But yeah, I don't know at 147 who exactly he will fight. Like I said, he's a big dude, and it looks like he has some devastating punching power. But like I said, he did what he was supposed to do. Um, I have to see him some more against some people who are. Carlos Quintana is very crafty and very slick, but like I said, ever since the body shot, I don't think he ever fully recovered. Um, so it was kind of a downward spiral. Um, but like I said, it was an interesting fight. He did end up like getting a TKO stoppage, and like I said, he has punching power. He's kind of awkward. He's definitely confident and cocky. Um, but I guess when you have punching power, you are going to be a little bit more confident in your skills. So that was a good fight. I think today was the day of the body shots because he hit him in the first round with the crucial body shot, and Ricky Hatton got dropped and knocked out with the body shot earlier today in England. So that's that fight. And then the main event, Robert Guerrero versus Andre Berto. Andre Berto was coming back from a 14-month layoff. As far as this fight, I've seen a lot of people talking and saying this is the fight of the year. In my opinion, personally, I would never classify this as a fight of the year. To me, fight of the year would be just an interesting fight where it was really intriguing. And don't get me wrong, this fight was intriguing. But Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward, or a fight like, I don't know, Floyd Mayweather versus Castillo, or just something that is competitive. Actually, not Mayweather versus Castillo. Castillo versus Diego Corrales, something like that. This fight was a little bit too dirty for me to consider it a fight of the year. It wasn't a clean cut fight. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating. I did predict that Berto would win, but there was a lot of stuff that was done in that ring tonight that I don't consider clean fighting. And some of it was Berto, a lot of it was Robert Guerrero. They both did different things, and it seemed like the referee was pretty much absent. There was a lot of clinching, a lot of holding, a lot of punching in the clinches. Berto hit Guerrero in the back of the head a couple times, got warned. It was like the referee was very selective as to what warnings he would give, and I don't know. It just wasn't a clean cut fight, and it was almost like a brawl, like a street fight. As far as the actual fight, Berto did not execute a good game plan, or if that was his game plan, I don't understand it, and he did not adapt at all. And ultimately, I think that was his downfall. The first thing I noticed was when he came out, he had the Adrian Broner, or Floyd Mayweather is most notable for having that stance, where you got your shoulders up real high like the Philly shell, and I've never recall seeing Berto even fight like that with that Floyd Mayweather stance. So to me, it was weird that he was, after 14 months of being off from the sport, you're coming out fighting like you're Adrian Broner or Mayweather when that's not your typical style against someone who's left-handed. So I didn't understand that from the jump. And then in the round one, Robert Guerrero knocked Berto down. It seems to me that if you came out with a new style that you were testing out or whatever, and that's not working, that you would probably change and revert back to a more conventional style. But he used it throughout the fight multiple times, and it just doesn't look like the Berto. I don't know how much of it was ring rust. I don't know how much of it was the body shots and constant pressure that Robert Guerrero put on him. But Berto did not look good at all. Like, there's nothing I could say. He had a couple moments, but he never really got into a rhythm. He was always being smothered by Robert Guerrero. He was always limited to the amount of punches he would put out. Like, he would connect with the maybe two punches, and then he would just stop. So I don't know if it's ring rust, if it was fatigue, but his uppercuts were looking nice, and he just never really got a flow. He never really, in my opinion, got off the ground. So it was an interesting fight. Like I said, I don't take anything away from Robert Guerrero. Robert Guerrero has tremendous heart, and he has a chin to be a guy from the smaller 130, 135 pound weight class to go into with a full size welterweight, even though he's been off for a little while, and be able to take his punches. That, I mean, that shows a lot. That shows a lot of determination, courage, and heart. Robert Guerrero definitely has that in my book. Um, like I said, Berto really just looked lifeless to me. There was a couple times where it looked like Guerrero started to fatigue, and Berto landed some good shots, but he never really put anything together. It didn't look like the Berto that we've seen against Victor Ortiz. Even though Berto lost that fight, he looked a lot more precise. He looked a lot more offensive minded. And this, it looks like he was constantly waiting for the referee to save him. Obviously, you're in there with the tough dog fight type of fight, a street fight, a brawl, whatever you want to call it, and it looks like he was kept looking, I don't know, at his corner, at the referee. He was waiting for answers or waiting for someone to break it up or say something. Like I said, don't get me wrong, the referee did a pretty bad job, in my opinion, of officiating the fight. There's times where there's like excessive clinching or hitting in the clinch or hitting in the back of the head or whatever the situation was. And I think warnings should have been clearer or harder or mentioned at all. Sometimes they weren't even mentioned at all. But either way, as a fighter, you can't be concerned with what the referee's doing. You have to be concerned with the person who's trying to knock you out. And to me, I feel like Berto kind of went in there with like a Zab Judah mindset where my plan A is not working, so I'm just going to get frustrated and take myself out of the game. And I really think that's what he did. His eyes were bothering him and swollen damn near shut. He looked like a Buddha statue or something. And I feel like it just mentally he was taken out of the game. The knockdown, being the layoff, I don't know. Like, I don't know what was going through his mind. I'm not Berto, but it looked like all of that took its toll. In addition to the fact that Robert the Ghost Guerrero is a fighter from the lower weight divisions who's used to having a high volume of punches, and he was nonstop smothering, and he was relentless. I don't know. Like I said, I can't even explain it. Like I said, Robert Guerrero definitely, at least in this fight, he took that high volume punch output and applied it. And it was crazy to see someone like Robert Guerrero, who's only fought at 147 pounds, completely bully and push around somebody who's a big dude. But he definitely did it in this fight. Like I said, there's a couple of sparks, but I don't think that Berto ever had Guerrero seriously hurt. But there was points that Berto, between being fatigued and being hurt with shots, looked like he was pretty hurt. So it was an interesting fight. Like I said, I wouldn't count it as a fight of the year. I don't think it was a clean enough fight to be a clean of the year. There was a lot of, like, if you watch it again, I got to watch it again myself, but just from the first viewing, I was able to see a lot. There was a lot of times where there was like multiple punches being thrown by Guerrero, and there were low blows included in it. It was clear to me that Robert Guerrero kind of had the bum rush kind of style, I guess you could say, in this fight, because Berto's eyes were, like I said, completely shut, damn near, and he was using shoulders and head and just kind of leaning in with his head, just veteran tactics that other people like Miguel Cotto employ a little bit, and it's not illegal unless you continue doing it after you've been warned. So I mean, it's kind of like if you're a bank robber and you're robbing banks and you're getting away with it, what's going to make you stop? So unless you get arrested or get caught or close to getting caught, you're probably not going to stop. So obviously the referee wasn't really interacting and he wasn't officiating like I feel he should have. So I mean, there's no reason for Robert or Berto to stop doing anything that they were doing. So the fight just remained kind of dirty and kind of grappling, but it is what it is. Like I said, in my opinion, it's not a fight of the year candidate. I don't know where Berto goes from here. It wasn't a good showing, in my opinion, on his behalf. As far as Robert Guerrero, I don't think he's ready for Mayweather, but I think he shows tremendous heart. I think he should still prove himself with some more people in the 147-pound division. There's other guys like Marcos Maidana, who's looked like he's steadily improving under the training of Robert Garcia. He's using a jab. His defense looks better. He's a heavy-handed puncher, and he looked good in his last fight. I would love to see Robert Guerrero fight Maidana. They were supposed to fight at one point, and it got canceled. Robert Guerrero got hurt, so I would like to see that fight happen. And I know Marcos Maidana is looking for another title shot. So I'd rather see that before I see Mayweather. I don't think that Guerrero's ready for Mayweather because Mayweather, I don't think, is going to stand for some of the things that Berto stood for or allowed. Mayweather is probably one of the kings of adapting in that ring, and Berto was just on the ropes and allowing Guerrero to pound him to the body and did nothing about it. There's times where he wasn't even throwing any punches. So I don't know. I don't know his deal. I don't know if he was fatigued, ring rushed, just frustrated, just trying to collect a paycheck. I don't know. But I mean, I honestly don't see Mayweather doing that. So that's my take on it. I've talked enough. I'm going to watch my 49ers. Hope you guys like the 49ers. Hope you guys like my boxing videos. Make sure you subscribe and comment and or hate. It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I'm getting the views. And until next video, it's Ego signing off.